This collector on the corner. Hot day today. Supposed to cool off tomorrow. But anyway, what I got here, I got a couple cylinder heads. This is one off of Chris's little C. And I've got them sitting out here in the hot sun. I can barely touch that. And I'm going to spray oven cleaner on there and clean that all up. I'm going to take all them valves out and lap them. And it's a good thing we tore that down, because right there set keeper, one of them's missing. It was about ready to drop a valve anyway. And I pulled a couple of valves out and cleaned on them. It's got a lot of meat on the edge, both of them. See that? It's not sharp. Okay, this cylinder head right here is for my 300 utility. And see them valves? They've been ground. They're sharp on the edges. Every one of them intake valves. So I got Debbie to get on the internet there, and from yesterday's tractor, she ordered me 4 new valves.
Yes, I did.
And they come. And we looking, and Debbie said there's a box over there, and she went over and got it. And the dang UPS guy or whoever delivered it just throwed the box with the valves in it over there on the other side of the gate. Anyway, so I got the new valves for that, so I'm going to work on that. I got a lot of projects took apart. Hopefully they all come together pretty soon. We're supposed to get about 10 days of a little bit cooler weather I can stand to get under that canopy under there and work on that. And me and Chris have decided to pull the other 3 sleeves out of the engine where we can really get down there and power wash it. Yesterday I did a video on that 55 Ford. I talked about that 390 motor engine. And right here that little jewel is. Anyway, I jacked it up. I decided I was going to take the oil pan off, and that drain plug has been cabalics because that was in a wreck. This was broke, and I took it on off. And I had to get a pipe wrench and a bunch of stuff, but I'm going to let that oil out of there. There's oil in there yet. I bought this motor. It was sitting in a building, an old shed. Anyway, after I take that oil out, I'm going to show y'all something. Why I always pull the oil pans off this stuff. Anyway, I done knocked all the freeze plugs out of the block. And I don't know, this is open, it's sitting in that building, there's dirt dauber nest all over it. And I just kind of imagine there's some dirt daubers floated up in there. And boy, I hate to try to take them manifolds off, because them bolts there always twist off. I guess I'll heat on them tops a whole bunch and see if I can't get them to break loose, because them are real bad to twist off on the FE Ford. That's the one defect that the FE Ford's got that I don't like. You see guys gonna do a first start on a motor and they started up with that old oil in there. Or if they drain oil, they'll do just like I did here. I just seen a clunk of something come out. And that's just, oh wait, look, it's about quit. I guess the thinner oil was at the top. And I'll show y'all something. Okay, I got a clean pan here. You start heating on that oil pan, watch what happens.
I think he's trying to blow us up.
No, it won't blow up. Start getting the oil pan hot. You can have one sit overnight. Let it drain. You can get in there and start heating that oil pan up. Like I'm doing here.
Why don't you just take the oil pan off?
Well, I'm going to. But I'm just going to show them. Once you start heating that pan up, what happens?
What happens?
Look how much more stuff starting to come out of it.
Just a little tiny
That old
bit.
clunky stuff.
Just a little tiny bit.
If this ain't been wrecked, I got to take the pan off anyway. She's starting to drip faster.
You say so, dear.
But I've got almost all the bolts out. I've got it loose hanging there. I didn't take it all the way off because the oil was still in. But anyway, you can do that.
And
You can have one completely quick
your
ripper and you can
propane.
heat it up and there'll be a whole lot more stuff come out of there like coming out of that right now.
Oh, that ain't very much.
When it dries up, it'll be sludgy stuff.
That ain't very much.
And I talked about it. I put that 59 Ford Interceptor in that 56 Ford car.
Uh-huh.
And on that 59 oil pan, the oil drain plug was right here. Right in the center of the back.
Uh-huh.
Instead of being on the side like this, it's right here.
I've seen them on the bottom.
Well, it was right here in the back.
But I'm saying I've seen them on the bottom.
And what happened to that motor?
What happened to that motor?
I was drag racing, and I twisted around, and that oil pan motor torqued up, and that bolt caught on, was real close to that cross member under there, and it caught on that cross member, and it pulled the drain plug out. And of course, I'm winding it up and got it really going, and I don't realize that all the oil has come out of that thing. Because I ain't looking no oil pressure gauge.
Why not?
And, well, it scalded the bearings in it. And after that, it went to leaking out the rear main so much to get oil all over the clutch.
Oh, dear.
So that's why I quit using that motor, but I've kept the old engine. I've got it up there somewhere. I think it's up there in
and
the old
it's a
red
no
van.
good, and
What?
it's a no good motor.
Well, it needs a crankshaft.
So it's a no good motor.
Well, pretty much.
You
It was still running, but it
Uh-huh.
didn't do it any good to run it out of oil, you know.
Well, I didn't do it. You did.
Well, I was drag racing, but it didn't do it good. Well, I've had this motor out here covered up.
See, no good has come to you from drag racing.
I've had it covered up in a wheel bar over it and all that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I bought it for $100 out of a state auction. It was in a barn.
Uh-huh.
And I really don't know anything about it other than I run the casting numbers on the block. And it had they said it's out of a wrecked T-bird, what they told me.
Uh-huh.
And see, it had a brass tank to sit right here, go to the radiator.
I don't know if it did or not.
Well, yeah, it was tore off.
Oh.
But it was a 60, the 60, 61, 62, 63, and 64 had that brass tank on it. I've got some of them tanks, I don't need it. But they also, it had the oil filler here in the intake rather than on the valve covers.
Uh-huh.
And I like them Thunderbird valve covers.
Yes.
But anyway, I had to give $100 for the motor.
I think I'll paint Chevy on them.
Well, you can paint whatever you want on. But according to the color of the engine,
yeah,
that green and all that, I've determined that this is a 1962 engine, is what I've decided. And I've got a stick flywheel and all that on it. What I got the transmission, bell housing, flywheel, clutch, starter, all that out of a 76 Ford truck. And it's got the long tail transmission with the slip joint in it. You know, the splines.
Well, I can
Touch a yoke drive shaft.
tell you the prettiest thing on it is that shiny chain.
Yeah, that's a new chain.
Yeah, it's
For this
shiny.
For a horse.
Woohoo!
But
Makes it
anyway,
worth a whole lot.
by putting that on the back of this engine, I'll do away with that old long snap starter that these old Fords had. They had a starter with a big old Bendix coming back here. See?
If you say so, dear.
And that way I have a full synchro 3-speed in that pitch pile Ford wagon. Anyway, and I'll have that better starter, and I'll wire up alternator on it too.
Oh, okie dokie.
And when I was a kid,
yeah,
that Interceptor motor had a carburetor like this. And I took a linkage, this linkage right here, and I bent it around and moved it around and took all this choke stuff off, and I fixed a lever on this choke part, so when it come down, it'd open that 4-barrel. And if you give it just a little bit of gas, not only the front tube, but the back tube was starting to open. They opened equally all the time. When I stopped it, and it'd have if you stomped it real fast, it'd have a bog, and it'd go boo, and you could hear that air. But there's the big old air cleaner right there off of this 390. But anyway, I'm going to pull that 55 Ford around out here because I want to get that motor out of it. And I'm going to take and put that motor in our 66 Ford F600 that's got the winch on it, because I need to use that winch truck real bad. And I don't want to just pull that car around and pull the engine out and not put something back in it right then and there, because I might never get back to it. So I'm going to get this motor ready to drop in before I bring that car around and pull that engine out. And I think I kind of want to sell that old 55 Ford. And I think it'll sell with a V8 in it, where nobody seems to have no interest in it with that 6. And maybe they just don't want it because it's a Ford. I don't know.
They're not old and want the gas mileage.
Well, I don't know. Everybody wants that 55 Chevy, and the Ford's a better car. You know, of course I like the 55 Chevy too. I don't know. I guess because everybody else likes them. But anyway, I always pull oil pans off these old motors. And I've seen a lot of engines that people go to try and do a start on them, and they won't take that fuel line off. And they pump that old stale gas that's in that tank in that engine. They might get it to run. But then when they shut it off, that old gummy varnishing gas is on the intake valves. And it'll stick them valves to the guy, and the next time they try to run it, they'll bend the push rods. I've seen that happen more than once. I always want to suspend the tank. And I believe I'm going to just clean the pan on this and pull the valve covers off.
It's got grass growing on it.
What?
It's got grass growing on it.
Yeah, that Bermuda grass grew up around it. But I think what I'm going to do is go ahead and pull that pan and clean it up real good and pull the valve covers and be sure all the valves is going up and down. It ain't locked up, it'll move. Yeah, be sure all the valves is going up and down. And then I think I'll just try to start it up out here on the ground. Put some good oil in it. Start up and see how good it runs.
I've seen you do it before.
But anyway, I hope there's nothing up in them exhausts, no dirt dauber nests, because they didn't put no rags or nothing up in that hole. And you tell them what them dirt daubers will do if you be still long enough.
They'll plug every hole you got on your body up.
She said they'd stop up your nose if you held still long enough, what she always told me. She likes to get a nail or a screwdriver and see the holes that they plugged up and poke them.
Yes, I don't like dirt daubers.
But they've been around it.
Yes.
There's mud dauber nest.
Yes.
That's the only thing I'm afraid of.
Well, take it apart.
They told me that old T-Bird, you know, it was a state auction. That guy wasn't there, but the people that was talking about. They said that come out of a T-Bird, and it didn't have a whole lot of miles on it. I forget just how many miles they said it had on it, but they said it come out of a T-Bird, and they didn't know exactly what year, and I'm believing it was a 62. But he put it inside the building, and it'd been inside that building all them years. If I bought it.
Don't push on me, darling.
I bought it, and I bought this engine. Same, they were sitting right beside each other. I had to give a whole lot more money for that because somebody else was there knew what this was, and they wanted it about as bad as I did. But it says GMC on the valve cover. But that's a Pontiac engine. It's out of a 56 GMC truck. It's a 216 or 217, whatever you want to call it. But it's got stick shift bell housing on it.
Okay.
And that there bell housing will fit on that 389 engines in that 60 Pontiac Catalina that Debbie likes so much. And I bought that Catalina to get that engine out. I wanted to put it on that bell housing and put it in a pickup truck. And I've got a 3.2 intake and all kinds of headers and speed equipment for a 389 motor. But I wanted a 60 engine because the 60 389 was the first year for the side motor mounts on the block, and it was the first year the 389 didn't have reverse cooling. This one's got reverse cooling. So the water goes in here at the top of the heads.
So you would take my
water,
Catalina engine on me?
Yeah, I want to steal it. But it don't have reverse cooling. But it still has...
Do you know what karma's going to do to you?
It still takes the same flywheel and bell housing as a 55 would. In 1961, they changed the bell housing and flywheel, and then in 65, they changed them again. But a 60, the old Pontiac, the 60 is the best one for what I want to do. But I've got a Grandy 4-speed that'll bolt to the back of that, and I want to put that 389 motor in a 67 Chevrolet truck I got with a Granny 4-speed behind it, and put 3.2s on it, and a bunch of junk.
Listen here, little troll. Your bridge is calling.
I can't steal your Pontiac engine?
No! Steal that one.
What about I give you this one?
For what?
A trade.
I need boot.
Oh, boot. I think I can come up with boot.
No, I don't want a cowboy boot or a boot, rubber boot. He's bringing me a boot, y'all. I wonder if I should boot him in the butt with it.
See, I come up with boot.
I said boot, not boots.
I'll give you one then.
Why don't you turn around and what is that, a number 9?
Fill that boot full of money?
No, I'll give you a number 9.
Them number 10s.
Okay, number 10, that's even better. You'll really feel it.
I got them on the free trash pickup day.
I know,
I was being a scavenger.
Can't you leave anything alongside the road?
No. I got you.
I wasn't alongside the road.
Yeah, you was.
Oh, God. I was?
You got off the school bus.
That's different.
And you was holding them books up.
That's different.
You was holding them books up. And I come by in a car behind the bus, and I waved at you. And you raised your hand up and waved at me.
Yes.
And I thought that little girl's really got a pretty smile.
I was full of knowledge and wasn't thinking.
Yeah, okay, whatever. But I seen that little girl. New neighbor girl, just moved in the neighborhood. That pretty smile and that long hair and all that. And,
yes.
And then, this is true. Her little sister liked to ride horses. She didn't like to ride horses. But her little sister was going to ride her horse down to where I lived to see my sisters. And she rode the horse down there to get a good look at me.
Yes, I did. Because I couldn't get a good look at him. And by gosh, I should have put glasses on.
Yeah, okay. Well, anyway, that's...
I'm smarter now. I would have asked you where you worked and how much money you had in the bank, and
I had a log truck and a chainsaw.
and you
It
lived
was
with your
cutting
mommy and
logs.
daddy, and yeah.
When you rode by on that horse, I was sitting on a log with a chainsaw next to me, wasn't I?
Yes, you were. And I should have run.
And she rode by on that horse, her activity was bouncing a little bit too.
All right, that's enough.
That horse was jogging.
You might not see Randall in the next collector on the corner. It may just be Debbie.
Be Debbie having my estate auction.
Be Randall in the hospital.
She might be wearing one of them jail bar suits.
That's worth it.
Hillbilly woman. The headlines will read, Hillbilly woman charged with murder. Look, there's a wild rabbit.
I ain't gonna
Look,
murder you.
See it down there?
Yeah, I see it. I'm just gonna knock the bejabbers out of you. Have you ever had the bejabbers knocked out of you?
I got a story.
Oh,
I got a story.
Yep.
One time I got my Yankee brother-in-law.
Did you get the bejabbers knocked out of you?
Yeah. My Yankee brother-in-law was down visiting from Indiana. And he liked to walk around my dad's farm, and we was all walking around there, his kids and my kids and Debbie and me. They was this rabbit come out like that. And Debbie just come up there and she picked up a rock, threw that rock and hit that rabbit right in the head.
Knocked it out.
Knocked it out. Went over and picked it up, you know. Said, good to eat. And he went back to Indiana and he told everybody, he said, that Randy's got a little Indian wife that hunts rabbits with rocks.
Why waste a bullet?
Hunts rabbits with rocks. Anyway,
but they're safe now because I can't hit the broadside of a barn with glasses.
So I don't want her throwing rocks at me.
Well, I'll give you a running start.
But anyway, yeah, he didn't know that was just a fluke that you had me.
Yeah. I was more shocked than he was.
Yeah, it was one of them deals. She was just throwing a rock.
Yep.
But,
I was just goofing off.
Yeah, it worked though. But anyway, I guess that'll be all for this one. It's hot, and Debbie's looks like she's about ready to melt. So I guess I'll let her go back inside.
No, if I was melting, it'd be like this.
Oh, okay. I'll let her go back inside. Anyway, I'm going to piddle with this old engine a little more and get Chris out here to pull the sleeves out of his tractor a little bit. And he said he wanted to do some welding. I got some welding I'm going to let him do this evening when it cools off. So we'll say goodbye and good luck to you.
And please be sure and like and subscribe and comment below. Thank you. Bye.